There are moments in life when it seems to ask for patience, reflection, and calm. Moments when silence is wise, when breathing and observing is the best strategy. But there are also moments when life doesn't ask you for anything. It demands. It demands that you get up, clench your fists, look forward without fear, and strike. Not out of rage, not out of desperation, but because your time has come. And when your time comes, you cannot hesitate. You cannot hide. You cannot retreat. There are people who never dare, who live thinking that someday, when everything is perfect, they will act. But that day never comes. It never has, and it never will. Because the world doesn't function like a well-organized play. The world is chaos, movement, uncertainty. And in the middle of all that noise, you have to find your moment and claim it. Most people live waiting, waiting for ideal conditions, waiting for someone to tell them they can move forward, waiting for approval from a world that isn't even watching. But life doesn't hand you opportunities wrapped in golden ribbons. It doesn't roll out red carpets. It throws punches, it pushes you, it challenges you, and it expects you to respond. Not with words, but with deeds. Not with excuses, but with courage. To strike is not violence, it is clarity, it is intention, it is wisdom in motion. But even in that act, there is measure. You cannot strike all the time. You cannot turn every moment into a battlefield. You also cannot strike blindly. There is an invisible line, a precise boundary that separates the wise from the impulsive, the determined from the desperate. Striking too soon is immaturity. Striking too late is cowardice. Striking at the exact moment is pure wisdom. That's why you must learn to read the silences, to observe, to be quiet, to listen to what is not said, to understand that often the best decision is to wait. Not because you are weak, but because you are fine-tuning your aim. Because those who strike too early wear themselves out, and those who never strike wither inside. Life doesn't wait, but you must not rush either. The Stoic is not passive, he is disciplined. He has understood that acting without meaning is a waste of energy, that moving forward without direction is erosion. The Stoic does not seek battle, but if the fight is necessary, he enters with peace in his heart and fire in his soul. He does not speak idly, but when he speaks, his voice has weight. He does not boast of his power. He embodies it in every gesture, every decision. Your life is built between two sacred times, the time of preparation and the time of attack. And you must not neglect either. The time of preparation is the loneliest, the longest, the one no one celebrates. In that time, no one applauds you. No one sees you. No one acknowledges you. You are alone with yourself. It is the time of silent dawns, of uncomfortable decisions, of constant sacrifices. It is the time when you sow without guarantees, when you give without receiving, but it is the time that transforms you the most. Because if you strike without having built your strength, you will break. If you lead without having learned to follow, your leadership is arrogant. If you speak without having listened, your words have no roots. Every great strike needs a great foundation. Every solid action comes from a well-lived silence. Every explosion of truth needs an inner fire that has stayed lit, day after day, when no one was watching. So if your moment hasn't arrived yet, keep going. Keep building yourself. Every day counts. Every morning you choose to advance instead of sleeping a little longer. Every time you choose discipline over distraction. Every sacrifice you make with faith. Every wound you learn to carry with dignity. All that becomes part of you, part of your power. And that day will come. The day the path opens, when the opportunity presents itself. When you feel inside you that the time is now, that you can no longer wait. And that day, when it comes, you must be ready. Not half prepared, not unsure. Truly ready, with a firm body, with a clear mind, with a burning soul. Strike, with resolve, with everything you are, with everything you were, with everything you dreamed. And let that strike not be to destroy, but to awaken. Awaken your voice, awaken your presence, awaken your destiny. Let your strike be an affirmation, a declaration. That tells the world, I no longer hide. I no longer hold back. I no longer ask for permission. I am here to take my place. Ask yourself, how many times have you felt you carry something inside that you haven't yet released? A talent you haven't shown? A message you haven't expressed? A life you're not yet living? And what if all of that isn't fantasy but truth? What if it isn't ego but calling? Don't let fear convince you to settle. Don't let comfort numb you. Discomfort is the compass of the brave. The inner fire is not a nuisance. It is a sign. It is life itself pushing from within. Don't ignore it. There are people who live for years silencing their own voice, years pretending they're fine, years repeating empty routines. But the day comes when the soul can no longer bear it, when it screams loudly. And that scream cannot be ignored. When it comes, listen to it and act, because the true calling only presents itself a few times. And if you ignore it, if you let it pass, something in you shuts off forever. Striking when it's your time is not ego. It's responsibility. It's claiming your place in the world. It's accepting that you can no longer live small, that your expansion is necessary, that your impact is inevitable. You can't keep shrinking so you don't make others uncomfortable. You can't keep pretending you don't know your worth. No one can tell you when it's your time. No one can give you permission. Only you will know. You'll feel it deep within. And when you recognize it, remember everything you've lived. Every fall, every dark moment, every sleepless night. Remember that all of it prepared you, that none of it was in vain. Because the greatest strikes come unannounced. They are silent, they are internal, and they change destinies. And one of those strikes could be today. Strike with clarity, strike with soul, strike with faith, and let the world hear it. And if it doesn't, strike again. Because you weren't born to yield. You were born to live with purpose. Because this is your moment. Understand one thing clearly. Life is not fair. It never has been. Not everyone starts from the same place. Some are born with advantages, others with burdens. Some have support, others have abandonment. But what doesn't change is this. You decide whether that inequality will be your excuse or your fuel. Look around you. Look at the real world. It's full of people who had everything and wasted it. And it's also full of silent warriors, of people who had nothing and still built everything. What's the difference? The decision, the attitude, the will. No one remembers the one who waited. No one speaks of the one who almost tried. No one applauds the one who justified their life without ever truly living. We remember the one who acted, the one who struck when their moment came, the one who didn't ask for permission, the one who didn't let life break them, the one who, with fear or without it, stepped forward. Because there are moments when the world seems to whisper, "Don't try." And in those moments, you must scream with your soul, "I will anyway." There are inner voices that will say, "What if you fail?" And you will answer, "What if I don't try and betray myself forever?" Failure is not falling. Failure is betrayal. It is living a life that isn't yours. It is looking in the mirror and not recognizing yourself. It is settling for crumbs, knowing there is a feast inside you, waiting to awaken. Every day you let pass, without advancing, without building, without feeling alive, is a day you won't get back. A day lost. And lost days add up. They become weeks, months, years. And one day you wake up and don't know who you are, and you feel like everything got too big. But it's not that you couldn't. It's that you didn't decide to strike when it was your time. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need a decision. You just need to begin. Because the path doesn't clear before you walk. It clears as you walk, as you fall, as you get up, as you bleed and smile at the same time. There are scars that can't be seen, but we carry them every day. Scars of what we didn't do, of what we didn't say, of the times fear won. But today you have an opportunity. Today you can say no more. Today you can decide that you won't keep carrying your silence. Today you can look forward, clench your fists, and take a step. Are you tired? Good. Use that tiredness as a signal, as fuel. Are you wounded? Good. Use that wound as a source of compassion and strength. Are you afraid? Perfect. That fear is the sign that you're close to what matters. No one fears what's irrelevant. No one trembles at the superficial. The one who trembles is the one about to break their own chains. And you are about to. So strike. Strike with your presence, with your decisions, with your persistence. Strike with your transformation. Strike with your truth. Because you can't keep shrinking to avoid discomfort. You can't keep pretending everything's fine when you know you're called to more. Look at your hands. They've witnessed everything. They've fallen, they've bled, they've trembled, but they're still here. Open, ready, strong. Don't use them to surrender. Use them to build, to hold, to create, to move forward. Strike when it's your time. But before that, prepare like never before. Because those who prepare dominate. Those who prepare endure. Those who prepare transform.